welcome to our Saturday night 2v2 race. I am Tarasu, and I am joined by BG Rich. How are you doing this evening? I'm not getting any sound from your mic, Rich. Well, while he figures that out, tonight's race is going to be using the World Series of Free Enterprise flags from this past tournament we had last March and April. Tonight's runners are going to be Invenerable and Supremacy versus Rex Rawl and Maggie the Cat. And just so you know, we have a bunch of other teams running tonight as well. So looking forward to a good race out of all of these. And looks like we're going to have an interesting tele start. And it looks like the floodgates have released, so we will be getting started here in just a few seconds.
All right, good luck, have fun, everybody.
There he is. How are you doing this?
Good, how about you?
Oh, not too bad. Looking forward to watching this race. While we have a moment, let's also thank the rest of our restream teams, Smapey during the restream and Dimmerine2 doing the tracking. Thank you both so much for your hard work. So we have a Tela and Sid start with the Earth Crystal and Baron Guards in the Beigen spot. That could be pretty interesting. So with these 2v2 races, we're going to have our teams communicating, what they're doing to each other. So you'll see them split up and try to cover more ground, figure out what's the solution to this seed. They need to find a way to Zeromus, either the Darkness Crystal or the Pass, plus the Legend Sword and the Adamant in order to forge the crystal.
What makes this interesting too, because it's a 2-on-2 competition, is that rather than one player certain things, where somebody can go one way and somebody else can go another way, and then they can come back and combine routes. So that makes the gameplay a lot faster than if it were just a regular free-for-all.
Certainly is correct. As you can see, Invenerable going straight to Baron along with Maggie. Then Supremacy went to Mist while Rex Rawl is checking out the Damsian treasury and finds some pretty interesting items in there. Crystal Ring, Zeus gauntlets, all very powerful, very. And then you're also going to want to look for your other party members. With a Tela and Sid start, Sid is pretty good in this early game, able to take some pretty decent punishment, where Tela, he's okay. Once you get through ordeals and unlock the rest of his spells, he's actually can be very useful. And we see our Hourglass ones tonight are going to be in the Baron item shop. And those, since we have to track trap chests, Hourglasses are very, very useful.
And the T4 GR flags will make things interesting to see what people can pick up. And since Tela has those low hit points, find ways to protect him when he has all those spells.
Certainly. A Crystal Ring and Damsian will be nice for Tela early on. Give him some decent defense, and that Lunar Staff will increase his white magic. Because Tela's stats, not the best in the game, but certainly has some use. And we see Mom Bomb in a vanilla spot, along with a Cecil. So Ordeal suddenly gets a lot of value with that Cecil and a Tela.
And there was also a crystal ring over in the Damsian castle.
Crystal Ring going to offer some good defense and a boost to a lot of your stats. Make anyone with it pretty solid. And you can see that Sid taking very little damage from Mom Bomb, and having Mom Bomb in her vanilla spot actually is really nice, because Mom Bomb has some pretty nasty physical attacks, in the right spot. Plus, anywhere she's located at also gets an additional 10,000 HP. So this is a nice spot to have her early on. Supremacy is now checking out the Troya Treasury, while looks like Maggie's over in Kaipo. So you see a lot of divergence from all of our runners early on, trying to find, what's in those item shops that are going to help them for the J items, and then finding gear to power up their party.
Certainly, with these early parties here, pretty much Sid is the attacker, and then hopefully they can feed Tella some magic. But until then, it's a pretty low-hitting, and it'll be interesting to see how quickly they chase after the other character.
Rexraw uses a Grimoire, gets Bahamut to quickly get through the rest of that Mom Bomb fight, now has that Dark Knight Cecil on his party. Invenerable is now making their way up Mount Hobbs.
It's like Maggie and Supremacy are making comparable routes here, going over the different Earth Crystal treasures and Troya, checking to see what are in the...
Certainly makes sense. Troya has 2 item shops for you to check, and starting with that Earth Crystal, you get access to the actual treasury early on. And seeing a Bahamut in there, along with an exit, even though Tella starts with exit, very nice. And over on Supremacy side, he just found a Crystal Shield, and with that Dark Knight Cecil, when he turns into a Paladin, that'll be actually a nice piece of equipment for him. Rexraw is now going down that Antlion, where you have the potential for one of your first key items.
As Chad has pointed out, there's been some adamant armors found in these treasure chests, so the spoils are coming early.
Adamant armor, the best armor in the game. Certainly very excited to see those. So now Supremacy looks like he looted Fabul. I don't think he took on the bosses though. And there's another adamant armor for Invenerable. That's, incredible gear to find early.
See what Rex Raoul finds here over in even the Antlion spot. I mean, we've seen one Venerable boss so far, but we'll see what happens here.
And he's making quick use of those 2 adamants, one onto Tella and one onto Sid. Well, unfortunately, Dark Knight Cecil can't equip adamant armors quite yet.
While that was happening too, Invenerable also noped out of the can't even think of the name. The waterway. He noped out of that boss. It looked like it was a moon boss. Didn't even wait to see what it was.
Definitely just trying to find that D-Mist, because it can be trolly. Rexraw finding the Kaipo fight in Antlion, so that's a pretty straightforward and easy fight to get out of the way. Would have liked to have seen it later, but Stimmarine pointed out, interesting call. It would have been nice to get that information, see what the moon boss is, and then nope out. Because if you know where Wyvern or Ogopogo is, that's very nice information to have, and don't have to worry about those cropping up in a much more unfavorable location.
Especially without those flags on to protect against the Mega Nuke. So it'll be interesting to see if that's the spot where is, or if Wyvern is somewhere floating in a much more difficult spot.
Certainly is the case. And then on top of all that, we do have the no safety checks flag on tonight. So that means their path underground is not guaranteed to not be behind one of those nasty bosses, or could be on the moon. So very interesting needs that could happen in a flag set like this. Maggie just finishing up looting Silvera. So One, probably they are going to head to continue looting various places, checking out the shops. Oh, going back to Baron. Looks like they are going to try to get a key out. Nope. Oh, we have Wyvern.
And that's a nope. Nope.
You can get that Star Veil off, but oh, Tele-Dodge.
I think that crystal ring came in handy there.
Inveterable taking on the Baron spot.
That or the adamant armor.
Baron's second fight looks like the Fabul Gauntlet. That is a time sink. Oh yeah, those Thor Rages on Invenerable side making quick work of this gauntlet. Supremacy not having too much trouble with the Kaipo fight and Antlion. And Maggie, they are now picking up their Cecil from the Mom Boss.
It's so Masamune is with the King of Fabul. If Edge turns up somewhere, there's a good chance that Rex Raul will... And Edge.
Edge is always a nice party member to have, besides the fact that, oh, we have CPU in the second spot, and it was a Fabul Gauntlet in the first spot for Baron. CPU, not dangerous, but with this current party, gonna be a little bit of a time sink.
Would not be surprised if telecasts a couple of Cure 2s during this battle, just because of that time sink just being so long.
Oh, we have Val in the Mist Dragon spot. That's actually really good, because Val in the right spot could absolutely decimate a party, especially this party, without a way to break her out of that tornado.
Especially without Kane. I know I've seen that in some of the async races, that live races too, where in spot like a moon boss or something, and you need the moon boss to get the chain to get the crystal, and it's just a mess.
Certainly could be. It looks like we're going to start getting a little more information now. Maggie getting their Cecil, and Invenerable shouldn't have too much left to do for this attacker, with Sid actually doing, or the CPU, Sid actually doing respectable damage for this spot. And Supremacy looks like he's going to start heading into Fabul. Gonna find that nasty surprise in Wyvern. Hopefully he has a Star Veil ready for himself, or gets lucky and have a Tele-Dodge. Invenerable gets the Darkness Crystal along with the Porum.
Looks like we're gonna land on the moon soon.
Probably will do Mount Ordeals before heading to the moon. Maybe go grab the free character up there to make life a little bit easier. But getting that Porum certainly is really nice. That gets you a White Mage, and a White Mage that actually learns Exit at a respectable level instead of behind a crystal. Maggie, looks like they're on their Fabul Gauntlet now in the Baron Inn. And Invenerable, yep, making that climb up Ordeals. Rex Raw just cleaning up some inventory space, buying some life potions. Definitely going to be wanting to make use of some of those life glitches yet. And I agree, Dimmerine. I haven't seen any sirens yet, and those will be kind of needed if you have to go to the moon. Depending on bosses, of course. Supremacy grabbing those hourglasses. I'm guessing he might head over to Eblon at this point, use those hourglasses, get some extra experience, and get those 3 key item checks out of the way. Invenerable finds Leviathan in the first spot on the mountain.
Again, with those store rages, this is a pretty easy battle. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly it goes with that one.
Yep. And Supremacy is definitely going to loot Eblon and finds his first trap chest, the Staleman and Skull chest. Invenerable takes out that Leviathan without any real trouble. But those adamant armors making this fight very safe for Supremacy, and there's his hourglass, so now nothing to really worry about.
Raul is making the same play going to Ordeals now.
Certainly makes sense. Maggie is currently stuck fighting in the Baron Inn, has 2 time sync bosses, trying to get more information, and then they continue to split. And we have D-Mist in the back attack, so no Trolley D-Mist tonight. How unfortunate. Well, for us, it's unfortunate. For them, it's probably really exciting to see that, because everyone's going to want to do Ordeals. Supremacy takes out the Staleman, gets some decent experience for his party.
This will be interesting too. Anybody that has a package before they get to, they're probably going to want to enter Mist from the other side to make sure that they don't start the package battle unless they want to see who the character is.
Might have a couple people check to see who the character is, but at this point in time, I don't think anyone's going to go with it. Maggie now has their Darkness Crystal, and Supremacy found an Artemis Bow, which is very interesting because you can use that to help back row glitch the Cid, and then when Cecil becomes a Paladin, can also back row glitch him. And the Artemis Bow in and of itself is a really nice weapon. Lots of Zeus gauntlets in this seed, several of the just really amazing armor, so they're not hurting for any gear this time around. Maybe a little bit of white mage gear, but
yeah, even the charm rod and some other stuff has shown up and see quite a bit.
All right, Supremacy finishes up that D-Mist fight. Gonna now have his Paladin Cecil here in just a second and get another key item, potentially. Maggie is also making their way up Mount Ordeals. Finds the Dorfax. Now that's an interesting one because not only does it allow you to back row glitch the Cid and Cecil without needing arrows, it also lowers your speed, so you can use that for some interesting agility manipulation. And as Dimrine 2 pointed out, a 1 cycle on the D-Mist on Rex Rawl's side, very nicely done.
I'm glad you mentioned too about the agility anchors, because with that agility anchor flag being activated, it doesn't matter or not, it goes to defaults to the standard, and especially if somebody gets early go mode, then they can really use that to their advantage to have a good agility against Zeromus.
The Mad Ogre chest in Eblon has our Luca key. That's a interesting one to find. And we have French Vanilla, Millen, and Gas inside the, well, Cecil's father's tomb. Yes, well, Supremacy finds the last of the 3 trap chests, the Lamia and Black Cats. Invenerable's now done with Mount Ordeals. He does have that Darkness Crystal, so may choose to go to the moon and leave Supremacy to finish up anything on Earth. Probably also take a quick look at that D-Mist. Rex Raw finishing up right behind him. Supremacy finds a White Spear. A Cane would be a nice addition to this party.
Interesting, because with the moon access and then also having the Earth Crystal, they have access to check who these different characters are, and as they make their decisions, who to keep and who to let go. Some early decisions. Also, the same thing with the rescue flag being on that. With the levels, catapulting them depending on who is where.
Certainly can do some interesting leveling with the party. Looks like Supremacy going to check out that Earth Crystal along with the Flame Dog chest, so that's going to be 2 key items and 2 potential additional characters for the party. Maggie finishes up their D-Mist fight, and Rex is now taking a look at our D-Mist item.
You have Spoon. It's Rydia's mother. Help Edge or Edward, as we have the Spoon flag on, allows the Spoony Bard to equip the Spoon.
Certainly is the case, and with those adamant armors, a Spoony Bard could really be powerful for the party, and Venerable picking up their Spoon as well. And I didn't see what Flame Dog had. It got out of the menu a little too fast for me. Looks like
it as well.
Looks like
Excalibur?
Yeah. Vanilla Flame Dog having an Excal, so that's an incredible weapon for that Paladin Cecil. Invenerable now going to the moon, and our package sprites being revealed by Rex, which I can never tell what those are.
Oh, it looks like a Golbez? Is that a Golbez?
Looks like a fallen down Golbez, and that's a Cane. And with the knowledge of a White Spear in the game, Cane is really nice. Our first boss is Dolls in the tower.
This is where the information sharing can help quite a bit, because you have Excalibur for a Paladin Cecil, and then you've got White Spear for Dragoon Cane, and wow, they can really run the tables with that physical damage.
Unfortunately, Rex Rawl and Maggie, they haven't gotten the knowledge of either that Excal or that White Spear, since neither has gone up Tower of Zot or done the Eblon checks. So, we'll see. But I will say, to get a package character, it is a pretty big time sink. You will get knowledge of another boss that you won't have to run into later. But I guess it is still early enough in the seed, and it is a Cane, so definitely worth getting. Venerable straight to the moon. Supremacy not able to finish off the dolls before they transform into Calbarinia. Dark Elf is attacking Kaipo tonight.
Even Tella can inflict some damage on Dark Elf at that spot.
And apparently the Karate Man was training in very low gravity this time around. Supremacy finishes up the Calbarinia fight, getting ready to do the second fight, and we'll also get knowledge of the second dwarf fight here, which is Oh, Karate Man.
Karate Man is at Golba's spot, apparently.
If you have a Paladin Cecil, it's pretty free of a fight, and we do have an Edward in Zot. Supremacy, unfortunately, doesn't have that spoon quite yet, and an edge.
We'll get an inside look pretty quickly about what players' strategies, what they prefer, because with this different equipment that's favorable to different fighters and stuff, they can go any which way they want to with reflex strategies or berserk strategies or some kind of hybrid.
I would say at this point in time, you're going to be looking at pretty much berserk strategies, simply because Tella doesn't learn enough black magic to warrant doing reflex strats, and Porum's going to take a very long time to get to that white, and you're going to want her focusing more on healing anyways. So until we find a black mage, which with the current party setups, I don't know if you would really want to take a Palom or Iridia. Oh, elements at the Val spot.
And that's it. Runiacs to the rest.
This spot has fairly low HP, able to get through them very quickly and skip the second half of the fight. Maggie is now making their way up to the moon as well, and I still don't recall seeing sirens. It's going to make moon pretty interesting to do.
That's kind of funny. I see in chat there, Val brought her friends, and she it didn't look like she even got to fight there. Her friends didn't defend her very well.
So it looks like moon is required with that tower creep on Supremacy side. Invenerable taking on the hairdryer chest. This has the potential for one key item, but not only that, it'll give him a lot of experience to get started on this moon, especially if you're able to life glitch some of them. Thankfully, Tilla has all of his spells for Invenerable, so this isn't too bad. Maggie gonna get their spoon from the D-Mist, hoping to find that Edward. And yes, Invenerable definitely making use of those life glitches to get more experience for his party, because the moon is no joke, especially with these low levels. Even with adamant armor, some of the bosses can still tear through your party if you're not careful.
Actually, with only hourglass ones, the danger with hourglass ones is that they wear off. And when that bronze goes away, who knows what can happen depending on how strong those enemies are.
Invenerable making very good use, getting 3 life glitches in this fight, and getting the back ones specifically, which offer a little bit more experience. And as you saw, Cecil jumped up 32 levels, if I've read that right. So he's certainly going to be set for the moon.
And a pass, wow.
Well, once you're done with the moon, you're not going to ever have to come back here. Rex making quick work of the Stelman skull chest with that Fire 3 from Tella.
I think we may be checking to see if there's value at Cave Bahamut. Or maybe not. We'll check those moon bosses.
Certainly makes more sense to go into the lunar subterrane. There is 9 trap chests and 6 key item locations guarded by 5 bosses. It's just too item dense to ignore over going to the Bahamut spot, and Bahamut can be no joke, and depending on who's there, could really be nasty. Maggie getting their Moon Karate Man, while Inventable's making use of those tiles, healing up. So we haven't seen cabins either.
This will also be more the reason to have the physical parties, because without that ability to replenish magic points, it's going to be a lot easier to just heal up.
And just for Neckbeard Tech, tonight's flag sets is V1, which means they need to find the Legend Sword and Adamant to forge the crystal, which is underground. So they still need a way underground and those two key items to finish the seed. But Invenerable looks like he's going to go straight to the bottom of the lunar subterrane, probably take on the D-lunar spot first, since that's two easy key items and some of the highest experience you can get in the game for some bosses, and hope to find some of the free bosses early to get that boost in experience.
For those new to free enterprise, just to explain, this differs from the vanilla game in this randomizer, the KQMT exclamation point, that the key items aren't just in their traditional spots. They can also be at the summoned monster finds, they can be at the moon bosses, and then they can be at any of the trapped chests throughout the FF4 world. So it makes for a much more interesting play of chasing after the key items to be able to fight the final bosses, Zeromus, and take care of business.
Certainly is the case. And usually in the randomizer, when you don't have the K exclamation point set up, it means that your path underground isn't going to be on the moon and not guarded by some of the more difficult bosses, such as Valvalis, Wyvern, and Kainatsu. And Invenerable going to do a little bit of grinding on the King Ryu fight, certainly going to help boost his party for any bosses. Leaving Tella on the ground, probably just going to be used as an agility anchor.
Of that too is sometimes what you can do is you can use a life potion on Tella, let him cast his Cure 4 or Cure 3 or whatever to heal people up, and then let him fall again in the next battle, and then he won't get any experience points to screw up the agility.
Certainly can do that, especially while you're waiting for Porum to get her white magic online, and it does take a little bit for Porum to come fully online. On top of that, she is still the inferior white mage to Rosa, so needs a little bit more levels than Rosa for the Zeromus fight, just because her HP is lower, but never going to be upset with a Porum.
I think the hardest thing is because she gets life 2 after she gets white, and so it differs from Rosa, who gets life 2 first, and where Rosa is just acting as a healer anyway, then it becomes easier to just have it dedicate to that role and not even worry about casting spells. But Porum takes that extra couple minutes to level up, which could wins the race.
It can make a difference. Really, the only difference I see personally between Rosa and Porum is Porum has less HP. It's just as good of a white mage. And, well, I like the twins anyway, so I'm never sad when I have one in my party.
Agreed, they're very helpful.
Well, current party setup actually is a very solid Berserker party. Sid can be used to, take some hits. Yang, once he gets levels, going to do fantastic damage. Cecil, fast, good equipment, going to be great. And then Porum for healing, always good. And then Tella to make sure the floor is nice and solid. Supremacy taking on their time sink fight in the Barren Inn. And Maggie now going to head their way, or make their way down into the lunar subterrane along with Invenerable, start getting that information to share with their partner in Rex.
Interesting too, looking at the key items for our 4 players on screen, it looks like Invenerable and Maggie are kind of going head to head on the opposite teams, and then Rex, Raoul, and Supremacy are kind of going opposite ends on their sides. So things continue to be pretty similar, or if there's going to be some more divergence once some of the other key items show up here on the moon.
Maggie finding Rubicon in the Pale Dam spot. Not too scary here, but goodbye, Tella. Looks like Invenerable's done doing the little bit of grinding they want to do and gonna start checking these lower areas in the lunar subterranean. Rex Rawl now making their climb up the Tower of Zot, finds the Flame Dog chest in vanilla location. And is going to be very happy to see that Excalibur, and does also have that white spear now for his cane. So those two are going to put out some pretty serious damage for his party.
Looks like Maggie was not able to berserk her fighters in this one, so the damage is, but it's going to take a little bit longer probably than they prefer.
Well, Tella dying right away certainly hurts, and I don't know her Porum's level, so I don't know if Porum knows Berserk quite yet. Probably pretty close, judging by that HP.
Thankfully, it's a low magic power spot, so really the only damage is being done by that glare spell. Although Porum being at low levels, I take that back. That the Fire 2 is definitely hurting her.
Well, the other thing is every time Ruby takes some direct damage, he's going to counter with that Fire 2, and it hits the entire party, so can certainly do some serious damage if you're not paying attention.
So looking there, it looks like Porum does have Berserk, but I guess it's something where right now, because with only 3 party members standing, I think Maggie's trying to keep. If they need to start using potions or anything, and we'll go that route in this battle.
Certainly makes sense. Since Ruby likes to counterattack a lot, well, the Porum dropped. Invenerable finds Dr. Lugay, and judging from what I saw, I believe he went into the D lunar spot, so Supremacy now has his spoon, and Darkness Crystal gonna start joining his teammate up on the moon. And while we're just kind of waiting on our runners to finish up bosses, get caught up with each other, make sure you give them all a follow. They're putting themselves out here for your entertainment, so all of them great runners, fantastic. Highly recommend you give them a follow on their streams whenever you get a chance. Rex Rawl finishes off the doll fights in Tower of Zot. Gonna now find their Kane, or Edge and Edward. Maggie finishes up Rubicon.
Down goes Balnab and Dr. Lugay, so let's see what Venerable gets in this spot. Ooh, a pink tail.
Pinktail's nice. That's yet another adamant armor for our runners. Maggie, unfortunately, just finding a defense sword. Gonna teleport out and probably make their way down to the bottom of lunar subterranean and kind of follow what Invenerable's doing. Supremacy not going straight to the moon, instead going to the giant. Gonna take a look at that last arm chest, which can have another potential key item. And Rex Rawl getting rid of Sid and replacing him with Edge. That is pretty nice. Invenerable finds Bahamut at Plague. Bahamut is thankfully not a scary boss to deal with. You can, if you're worried about the count, you can throw up some Star Veils and reflect the Mega Nuke back to him. Not going to be too challenging. His party looks like they're making very quick work of it. Alright, Supremacy finds the last arm chest, the only key item in the giant.
And Venerable made quick work of Bahamut, so let's see what's behind Bahamut in that spot. And it's a lowly headband. Throw it back. You don't want it.
Rexraw gets to their element fight, and with his current party setup, should be just as quick as Supremacy's. Last arm uses Fission. I think that was a wipe. Oh.
He didn't get a chance to save on the giant because before the save point, so they may have to go, he may have to go through that cutscene again if that's what he's looking to play, or change his route.
Did save after getting the big well, so it's not going to be a huge time loss, but yeah, choosing instead, let's go to the moon. Wasn't able to quite get through the last arm. Maggie's now on their Lugay and Balnub fight. And Rex finishes up Tower of Zot. That's an Asura and Ogopogo. While not the scariest, can certainly still be very painful.
Definitely do not want to use that Moon Veil there. I saw Invulnerable, I don't know, strategizing, but I was like, definitely don't accidentally hit that button because then the battle will never end.
Well, he would have to reflect the Moon Veil back to Asura, probably deciding wants to get Blink up first, just so Asura's physical attacks, which that's the only way she can hurt you, is doing less damage, gets Blink on Porum, reflect on Cecil, and then Star Veil. Now Asura's healing is going to reflect back to your party and shouldn't have too much trouble with this fight anymore. Supremacy is finishing up his hair dryer chest, and Rexraw, realizing that I have to go to the moon, has to go through his time sink of 2 fights. But certainly has more powerful party than some of the others have had when they came here. Probably going to replace that Tello with Porum as well, would be my guess.
Be interesting to see too if Supremacy goes back and tries the last arm chest again as he gets the pass. Because with Edward in the party, there's the possibility, if as long as Edward is standing, to hide Edward when that whatever happens, the fission, and tries to wipe out people that are standing. That could be a play.
Invenerable also making use of another thing with Cecil. Gonna leave Sid weak, probably getting Tello weak too. Now, whenever Asura attacks those two, Cecil's just going to jump in the way and protect them. Just yet another reason why you should have a Paladin Cecil. Supremacy is going to check to see if there's value in Cave Bahamut for us today. And Rex, I think this is the last fight in his Swivel Gauntlet.
Believe so, because I could have sworn I saw the gargoyle on the screen already.
Maggie not having too much trouble with this Dr. Luge fight, and Supremacy choosing to do a little bit of grinding. Unfortunately, I looked away before I could see what the boss was at Bahamut. Mag is going to get rewarded with their pink tail, and thanks, Dim, it was Milan Z, Rex Raw, now on their orb fight. Gonna have to spend some time with that. Invenerable with their current setup, not having too much trouble with this Asura fight. Shouldn't take too much longer to get through it. Rexral finished up with CPU, gets their Darkness Crystal and the Porum. Maggie, they are now on their Bahamut fight and Plague. Gonna be fairly disappointed when they see that it's just a headband behind such an easy boss. Rex now finished up with everything on Earth. Gonna go get their big whale, and there's
Legend Sword. Yay!
So that is one of the 4 parts we need for go mode. So halfway there. Now Invenerable's going to start checking all the trap chests down here and work his way back up through the lunar subterrane, trying to find the other key items needed to complete the siege. Still needs a way underground, and still needs the adamant to finish up. And that is the Red Dragon, Blue Dragon chest. Could be fairly nasty, even with these current levels.
I wonder if they're going to use that Artemis bow here. Yeah, Zerk and Archer here.
Unfortunately, Maggie takes a wipe to Bahamut. Maggie also has not done any grinding yet on the moon, instead trying to force their way through this fight. Will need to probably get up some Star Veils on their party in order to finish off Bahamut. Supremacy now taking on Milan Z in the Bahamut spot. And even though Milan Z normally not a scary fight, in Bahamut spot can certainly do some serious damage.
It's going to be something too. Edward's going to need some defense to be able to get some damage in, because with that low hit point total, every hit's going to knock him down unless he's blinked or and to protect him.
Certainly is the case, but Cecil with a Excalibur, he's just making Milan Z into mincemeat.
So with the double dragons there, looks like Bimmy and Jimmy are down. Let's see if there's anything special in that treasure chest.
It wasn't. There's Adamant. So Supremacy and Invenerable both know where their parts needed for the crystal are. Just need to find a way underground to forge it. Rex Raw now making the play on that last arm chest.
There is value. Well said.
I am certain Supremacy is extremely happy that there was actually value in Cave Bahamut. Supremacy now going to go check out that last arm chest again. A few more levels, shouldn't have too much trouble.
Maggie's got a beat here on the first half of that crystal, so let's hope that this battle goes well for them.
As Dimmarine pointed out, the core only had one chap chest and it wasn't really worth going for. So Now Invincible's going to start making their way back up through the lunar subterranean, hit that wyvern spot as well. Oh, come on, Dimmarine. We don't want them to find Magma Key. With all this, it needs to at least be a hook seed. Supremacy knowing exactly where that last arm chest, making a V-line straight to it. Rex Raw now in their last arm fight.
And there it is. There's magma. Got there. Marine called it. That was over at last arm.
And you'll see immediately, yep, Invincible exiting out. Supremacy's going to head straight down, grab that Legend Sword. With that, our first team is in theoretical go mode. They know where everything is. Invincible probably has enough levels to take on the Z fight. This is a very quick seed considering you needed to go to the moon.
So the sub-hour finish is not out of the question with these results.
I don't know if the runner's going to finish sub-hour. It is possible. And I agree, Dimmarine. No Sylph Cave makes me sad. Maggie now has their Legend Sword, and Rex heading to the underground with that Magma Key. With the knowledge that they currently have, this makes perfect sense. But it's probably going to be a good while before Maggie makes it over to Cave Bahamut, simply because they're going to want to finish cleaning out the lunar subterranean, check all these trap chests, make sure they get all the spots taken care of. So Invincible now on their last arm fight, gonna get that Magma Key, head straight over to Cave Bahamut, get Adamant, and then finish up this seed fairly quickly with Cecil at his current HP and levels, Yang at his current HP and levels, and Porum with Cure 3. You should be fine. Might do some more grinding just to get Cure 4, but
it looks like Supremacy picked up Yang there on the moon, so that was interesting. I wasn't sure if he was going to make any changes to that party or not.
I agree with you, Dimmarine. Invincible doing last arm instead of going to get the Adamant does add a little bit more time to his overall race time, simply because you got to go through that cutscene one more time. Luckily does have the pass, so after this won't ever have to go back to the moon, but Maggie finding Palladium at Wyvern. Rex gonna be someone for the fans, and check out our Jobdorf, a physical therapist today. Invincible, what are you doing? You know where Adamant is. Why aren't you going to go get it?
I wonder if Invincible is going to do a shop check or something. Maybe just to... There. Sure.
Not quite certain, but you can see this Palladium actually making life a little bit difficult for Maggie. Rex Raw finding silk webs and Bacchus wines in Tomura. nope, Invenerable just forgot to go get the adamant and going to V-line it straight to not be able to do anything. And I think Invenerable just realized his mistake. Meanwhile, Supremacy is going to get his Legend Sword.
Right, they may end up having a synchronized Zeroma's battle, being able to.
That's a long way back to reset for Invenerable. Now going to have to do that last arm chest yet again, and oof. Maggie gets a Leviathan summon from the Pale Dim at Wyvern. Rex Rawl now looting lower Babel. Alright, Invenerable, now realizing all of his mistakes, is going to go get his adamant to be able to forge the crystal. I wonder if he's going to realize he now has to go back and do last arm again.
Right now, with Rex Raoul and Maggie, with their knowledge of what they have so far, Rex Raoul is starting to explore for other stuff. Has found the hook, though, so that may salvage this for the key items.
That hook certainly is nice. Not really needed, especially since you already have a path underground, don't have the rat tail, and though he has knowledge of where the pink tail is, probably not going to go too far out of his way to get it right now. Maybe on his way down to get the Legend Sword, he'll swing by and grab it. Supremacy now has everything he needs to complete the crystal and be in go mode, getting out of this lunar core to be able to cast Exit. Maggie now on their double dragon chest.
Looks like, just taking a glance at the statistics, doesn't look like anybody off screen has completed yet. So Supremacy may be the first that will get there.
And just to point out, Rex Rawl finds an Avenger sword and a white shirt. Two pretty nice pieces of gear. Rex still making their climb up lower Babel, finding little bits of gear here and there, gonna make themselves a little bit better off when they get to that Z fight, but there is trap chest either number 3 or number 4. Invenerable choosing to use this time to go ahead and get their grind out of the way, probably looking to get Cure 4 on Porum and just a little bit more damage on Yang would be my guess.
Don't recall, have we seen any Cure 3s or Elixirs yet?
I do not think we've seen Cure 3s or Elixirs. They might be in the Fey March, they could be in Eblon. Oh, Cure 3's on Moonshot. Perfect. Thank you, Dimmarine, for catching our mistake. Alright, Supremacy gonna be the first one on stream to have their crystal completed. And yes, Invenerable did remember to do the last arm. Not gonna make silly mistakes twice in one race.
Thank you in chat there, Neon Gray, pointing out that because it's an S2 flag, elixirs won't be found and for sale, so they'll only be found in the trap chest. So I don't recall seeing any on the screen, so it looks like those will be out of play.
Certainly could have them in Cocal Shop, but that doesn't seem to happen very often. Invincible now going to go get the rest of their go mode, and Supremacy checking out Tomura, probably looking for Bacchus Wines, and going to be very happy to see them.
We apologize. It looks like there's some technical difficulties right now. Rex Raoul's screen has seemed to gone out for a moment here, so we're looking into that. And there we go. Everything is fixed, so that's good.
All right. Rex Rawl finds Octomam in Lower Babel, and Supremacy is going to make some omelets for their grind. Maggie finished up with Lower Babel, exiting out and working their way back down. I think, yep, Maggie almost forgot that they already took on the Pale Dam slot, and there's no more treasures over that way.
Siege is grinding omelets. We'll see how many omelets end up getting grinded, because being at those levels in pretty good shape here.
I'm guessing either waiting for a little bit more HP on Porum, or just wanting to get that Cure 4, maybe get someone to that magical 28 agility or close to it. And Venerable dropping their Magma Key, about to get their crystal, and probably done with their grind. Gonna head straight to the Z fight with the crystal, would be my guess. Supremacy looks like they're finished up grinding, gonna make their way over to the Z fight.
And as Supremacy is flying over, chat is, how many are we gonna kick today?
I am hoping for anything but Clippiness. It doesn't matter if it's a drunk 6-year-old to save the world, it's still a drunk 6-year-old. And no one wants to see a drunk Porum. That would just be weird. At least for Palom, it would make sense. All right, Invincible heading over to Tomra, going to pick up those Bacchus and the Silk Webs to make their Z fight a little bit easier. Supremacy heading straight over to Z fight, first one on stream. So again, I wonder whose butt we are going to be kicking today. Do you have any guesses?
Kind of want to see a Ganon in this, because I've only seen the Armos Knights, I think, when I've played from.
That could be very interesting. And Invincible literally on Supremacy's tail heading into that Z fight.
I don't know if you could be any more coordinated as a team than this here, where they're basically fighting Zeromus at the same time.
Supremacy has selected his crystal. Oh, I am unfortunately not familiar with this one.
I'm not sure either. I think okay, so we said Final Fantasy 11. I know I've seen that sprite before, but I didn't know what it was. Thank you for for chat for chiming in on that.
All right, so the Final Fantasy 11 sprite.
Question in chat too. See, to know the vanilla game to be good at the randomizer and really be new to the game and figure it out. I think it definitely helps memorizing the knowing where key item spots and different things are. Things where once you know the basics of it, it's like a board game. It goes a lot faster and get good at this game without the experience of vanilla.
Quite honestly, if you wanted to get into the randomizer, you don't need to know the vanilla game whatsoever. But having that base knowledge of, okay, this is where this is, and this is kind of how this character works, or this is how this boss kind of works, is certainly a huge help when you're first starting out. But again, it's not needed. You can learn everything you need to know just playing the randomizer. Still don't have any finishers, so Invenerable and Supremacy could potentially be our first place finishers tonight.
To be going relatively smoothly too for both of them, as they get some pretty big hits with having really good equipment and good strong fighters here.
Certainly is true. Lots of Zerkers. You have a Porum to back up your White Mage, or back up your healing. Invenerable has a Tella for an Agility Anchor, which I'm surprised Tella's still alive, but not going to have too much trouble with this Zeromus fight.
I think for Supremacy was just having that one Claude Yang, but even that, with the three other fighters with equipment, the Zeromus is just going down here pretty quickly.
We had Rocks fall. One or two more. There's the flash, and Supremacy finishing first place with a time of 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 26 seconds. GG to him, and let's see if Invenerable can finish up and wrap up their team for first place. Maggie still looking around in trap chests in the lunar subterrane, finds one of the behemoth chests, and Rex Rawl now in the Fey March.
Looks like the only thing that's holding back Invenerable right now is only having 3 Zerkers, and Yang and Sid aren't doing quite as much damage at their levels as hoped. I think partially because of their equipment. They'll go fairly quickly.
Well, another thing is Supremacy had that Excalibur for his Cecil, whereas Invenerable never found it. So certainly putting out a little less DPS, but shouldn't have too much trouble with the fight regardless. Maggie now has their Red Giant chest, and I believe the last chest had the Baron key in it. Ooh, that's a Golbez and Asura spot. Are you going to take that on?
Hole gets rid of the but we'll see how many more hits it takes here.
shouldn't be too much more on this Z file. This Porum is dead.
And I think the flashes are off. Am I correct to say that? Because I did not see a flash on my screen. I didn't see Virtuous going into the ground.
I didn't see the flash either, but Invenerable second place with a time of 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 24 seconds, with their team Crystal Forge coming in and taking first place overall. GG to both of them. And we'll see if we can get them in here for an interview in just a minute. Rex Raw is making the choice to go after that Golbez fight. And we are joined by Supremacy and Invenerable. GG to both of you on your first and second.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Invenerable, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, how did it feel to realize you forgot something on the moon?
You see, the thing was that I was so incredibly excited that my teammate found the magma key that I couldn't help myself. Like, I'm just like, magma key? Yes! And then I get to kick home like, oh. I don't actually regret the forgetting. I do regret that I reset instead of just leaving on foot, because I had been through so many dang cutscenes that I think I wasted more money resetting back to... more time resetting back to the moon than I did just walking and flying back. That's the one regret I really have.
Well, gotta have something to entertain everyone with every now and then.
I do like, it's popping up now on my screen, 44 treasures looted on a KQMT T4 seed. We saw those 2 adamant armors, we're like, we're done. Who needs chests? We're fine.
What's even more surprising was Scala rolled this seed, so very, very kind to y'all this evening. Supremacy, you have any thoughts, or what did you think of it?
I think it was a major blessing in disguise that I wiped to last. Because if I had gotten that magma key earlier, I would have immediately just zoomed underground and been baited by whatever nonsense was.
Yeah, the white so last arbs certainly put you on the right spot to actually get value from Bahamut for once.
Yeah, it was like, okay, well, this is silly. Like, 900 damage from it. Like, edge, 2 adamants, and I still only have 800 health. I'm like, I need something level. Let's go get the pass. And then I was like, okay, well, let's cave Bahamut. I'll do a few sirens in there. I saw the boss was Mylon Z and was like, 2 adamant armors. This is free. Might as well. And then, oh, surprise, go mode.
Oh no, it was certainly a blessing in disguise. Our other runners, Rex did the same sort of play you did, Supremacy, found the magma key, and is now just going around in the underground.
Ooh, that's rough, because... Oh, okay, well, on the bright side, I just saw my spoiler log. The hook is in, I believe that was Lower Babel. So at least no one's going to get baited by that if they find it on the moon. Anyone going underground will have to find that magma key in the giant.
Oh yeah, certainly.
It looks like the only item bait on the moon was Baron Key and a trap chest. So.
Yeah, Maggie just found that, but I think they will find Adamant before then. But too, that was really fast from both of you. Had go mode in less than an hour on KQMT. That's just impressive all around.
Well, we're both huge fans of targeting the moon, and the fact that we had early moon access really played itself into our strengths. Like, I have no problem doing moon before doing underground, and when the stuff's there for the taking, it works out really well for Supremacy and me.
Like I said, 2 adamants never hurts either.
2 free adamants right away. Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna have too much trouble on the moon. Just needs a couple levels.
was like, Invenerable was definitely debating at the end there whether or not to just run up to Flame Dog and get the X-Cal, but because he had to do the reset, he decided against it.
Yeah, I mean, Zeromus, there was nearly a moment of, like, I'm surprised that he had both the Big Bang and the Black Hole queued up, and then died before I could even re-Zerk anyone. That was just very weird timing in his script when I got the damage in. I'm just a little annoyed that I put the Adamant armor on Porom in the hopes of letting her survive a full-powered Big Bang, and then it didn't accomplish anything. I should have left it on Yang for the DPS.
Yeah, live and learn. Either way, you both played incredible. BG Rich, you have any questions for either one of our...
Just a couple quick ones. First, for the people, I know that we have some viewers here that are a little bit newer to the randomizer. Maybe any tips that you would give to them starting out new on...
Tips for new runners. Know when to stop checking. Like Invenerable said, what, 46 check?
44.
On this kind of seed, like when you find 2 adamants and you've got a weapon, like you don't need to check anymore.
Yeah, and the other thing would be early game, have a general idea of what kind of shopping you want to do and what shop items you want to prioritize, so that if you do have to ration out your GP, you'll still be fine in the long run. Like, I surprisingly got a ton of mileage out of just 3 Star Veils and 10 Thor Rages. Like, they let that gauntlet go by so quick that I was, just shopping. Shopping is a huge part ever since the economy patch took place last summer. So keep in mind what you want, what you need, and what your team can handle and what it can't.
Excellent. So one last question. We've got a new league starting here in 3 days. The qualifiers. Do you have anything to say? Any plugins or anything that you'd want to mention about the Highway to the Zenith Zone?
Well, Invenerable's got an auto qual, so he gets to sit back and watch. I was offered one but declined it because I wasn't sure if I would actually be competing in the league or not. So I still have to give that some thought. But we'll see what happens come qualifier time. But everyone should be super excited. Please join. Just join the qualifier. It doesn't matter if you think you're gonna get into the top 32 or not. Join the qualifier.
I promise you, last year with the qualifiers, there were probably several people who were surprised that they made it, and then they just kept practicing, hammered it out, and made it all the way to the playoffs and the finals. So, if you're wavering, if you're intimidated, don't be. Come on down, have fun racing the game with us. It's going to be a blast.
I'd like to remind everybody that World Series of Free Enterprise champion Dusty Griff had to race in a race of 4 with only the top person finish to get the spot that he did. And then, a few months later, he's World Series champion. So if you put in the work, you can definitely be like the...
It just boils down to practice. I hope everyone comes and join us. Our first qualifier is going to be July 9th, this Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Even if you're on the fence, please just come join us. Have fun. Tune into the restream. See what it's all about. But is there any final thoughts from either one of you, Supremacy or Invenerable?
I'm good.
I just want to give a shout out to Scala Kitty, who I said would roll something evil, and then Invenerable said he is immune to her evilness. That's the only explanation for why we got up.
And that very lucky wipe at last.
Yeah. That was evil Scala magic that back.
Counterspell. You gotta leave those 2 blue mana untapped.
That is going to be the happiest wipe you've ever had.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyways, thank you both for being on the restream, and GG again on first place overall for your team.
Yep, thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Always a pleasure.
Now, yeah.
GG, and we're looking forward to seeing you play in the league and in Supremacy, depending on what you decide. But
Sounds good.
best of luck either way.
All right. All right, that was Supremacy and Invenerable. During that interview, we had some more finishes. Peasants OMFG finishes third with a time of 1:14.14. Woo Bear taking fourth with a time of 1:14.16, and those two were on a team together, taking second overall. We had Simbu coming in fifth place with a time of 1:15.45. Daka Shinobi coming in sixth with a time of 1:18.14, and Moonblaze Wolf taking seventh place with a time of 1:19.08, meaning Team Mighty Quacks has a combined time of 2:34.53. Team Mighty Quacks being Moonblaze Wolf and Simbu. So GG to all of them on their incredible finishes. And on our restream, we see that Maggie had found the Adamant, so now has their magma key going to head to the underground, and Rex Rawl looking to get the rest of their pieces for go mode, going to take on that Mylon Z and the Asura at Ogopogo.
Too, once Maggie was able to figure things out on their end, they were able to communicate to Rex Raul, and now track to go ahead and finish this thing off.
Certainly. Rex probably going to also want to do some level grinding since he hasn't had a chance to do that on the moon yet, but certainly not going to have too much trouble getting these final pieces to the puzzle. And we have an 8th place finisher, Poidrak, coming in with a time of 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 8 seconds.
GG to him, so we'll see whose teammate finishes first here, and we'll see how that goes with the total scores and average times to see whose team.
Lots of different runners, and with the 2v2, it doesn't quite matter when you finish, it's when both of you finish for that combined time. So working together is very important. As you can see, Maggie, Rexrawl work very, very well together. It's just that one little troll that Scala managed to get into the sea. But once again, if you are enjoying what you see, you enjoy our runners, make sure you give them a follow. They really put themselves out here for these restreams, and it's great fun to watch all these different runners. And then once again, I'm going to give a shout out to our restream team tonight, Smapey handling the restream, and Dimmerine 2 handling our tracking. So without them, the commentary just wouldn't happen, and they make our lives a lot easier, trust me.
100%.
Maggie has their crystal going to I haven't gotten to take a look at their levels. Oh yeah, they're going to head straight to the Z fight. Probably pick up a couple of little items, Bacchus wines, silk webs, but shouldn't have too much trouble with their Z fight. And want to shout out Supremacy and Woo Bear for the raids. Thank you both so much for that. Maggie also going to give us a quick chat with the job dwarf, it seems. Just going to make sure we know what they do. And a cursed raid. Maggie, you're supposed to talk to the job dwarf.
Go mode, there's no time to talk. You just go, 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 go.
But now their run is invalidated because they didn't talk to it and even came all the way here. I mean, wine is very distracting, Supremacy. Oh, luckily Rexroll did talk to the job door for everyone tonight, so there's that. Rexroll now has his pass, going to probably start making their way down to the lunar subterrane. And we have a ninth place finisher, Night Dew, with a time of 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 49 seconds. And that means him and his teammate have a combined time of 2 hours, 43 minutes, and 57 seconds, which is Team Ordeals with it, Night Dew, and Poydrak. Maggie heading now into their Z fight, gonna have a pretty easy time, I would think, with their current setup and levels.
One of the perks of having Cecil, and then with a Yang and a Sid with all the hit points and Cecil's damage with that. I want to say Maggie also found a crystal sword, so I mean the amount of damage that's going to be done is going to be pretty good.
Certainly, Maggie is going to blitz through the Z fight with the Cecil, the Yang, and even though Porum just doesn't quite have the HP, should survive reasonably well and be able to keep those fighters topped off. And like everyone else, probably gonna have Tella just fall on the floor whenever he eventually does. Rex now making his way down to get that legend sword. Probably will do some more grinding down here as well, would be my guess. Yep. He is definitely just heading to get the Legend Sword, probably do a little bit of grinding down here, and he'll be pretty much set up for the Z fight. He's the only person that got that Kane tonight, and Kane with a White Spear gonna really add into that DPS as well. Maggie has thrown their crystal, and Zormos is gonna make some funny noise. And there's the Silk Web to nerf the first Big Bang, get those Bacchus Wines going, and not going to have too much to worry about.
And be the safety cure 3 here too to make sure Porum stays through that Big Bang.
Certainly is the case. Just wants to get back over to Yang's turn and get a Bacchus on the monk that's not supposed to be drinking wine. And with Tella on the ground, just needs to focus on Porum to keep the party topped off, and should be good to go for this Zeromus fight. Rex makes it into their Asura fight. Gonna has some pretty good levels. Shouldn't have too much trouble with this. And we now have a 10th place finisher, Chaos Hades, with a time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 54 seconds.
GG to them.
Rexraw getting some blinks, some berserks up for this Asura fight. Um, shouldn't have too much trouble with this. Gets a Star Veil, and there's the Reflect on Asura, so... And I believe it's a Kane with a Rune Axe, or is that Cecil with Rune Axe? That Rune Axe is certainly doing a lot of damage to this Asura.
Only using it, taking out the Mage Asura.
Oh yes, you see 7,000 damage a pop. It's not gonna take him very long to get through this fight. There's the second big bang on Maggie's side. For him just not having enough HP, but there's the flash. Maggie with in 11th place with a time of 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 8 seconds. GG to them.
Eee.
Rex finishes off Asura, now has that Legend Sword. Gonna need to probably get some more levels before taking on the Zeromus fight, but shouldn't have too much trouble with that.
It's only a question of which way does Rex want to level up. We'll find out what he decides here.
Choosing Cast Exit doesn't need very many levels, just a little bit, just to get Porum to that Cure 4 to get through the initial setup of the fight. And we have a 12th place finish, Golden Hades, with a time of 1 hour 30 minutes. 1 hour and 30 minutes. GG to...
It's like Team Hades Miss finishes with times of 127.54, 130, and then combines it to 257.55. And so that gets them in the books.
Where is Rex Raw going?
I wonder if Rex is going to swap out characters or pick up items or what, because that was a quick beeline there, getting some sirens. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah, grabbing some sirens, just gonna do a quick egg grind. Has a lot of key items, should take very long to get those final levels he wants for the final fight. Has 2 Avengers too, that's actually really nice. Ike coming in 13th place with a time of 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 36 seconds.
GG. So that's got 13 finishers, just a few more to go.
Rex handing over that sword and adamant, now gonna have his crystal and be ready for that Z fight. Yes, Dimmery.
Those following along in the chat too, definitely consider joining our Discord. If you're curious to learn more about the game, talk about the game, start learning about Seed of the Week and playing different races, different competitions, that's the place to be, over in the Discord.
Certainly. Join us in the Discord. You know, lots of very helpful people in there when you're learning. You can certainly ask questions, and just about anyone would be happy to answer them. Lots of useful information in the Discord, and on top of that, you'll get knowledge of when tournaments are coming up, just like the Highway to the Zenith Zone that is starting this Tuesday. And Dire Wolf, I know you're in the Discord. You're asking questions all the time, and I am glad to see you around.
And it looks like Crimson Avix has finished with a time of 1:33.18, and Team Maroon Caribou is now finished, combined time of 2:51.33. So GG's to them.
And yes, joining the Discord, you could talk to our Team Porum leader, Dimmering, even though she clearly knows that Rosa is the superior white mage. And while Rex is finishing up their setup for the Z fight, gonna give another shout out to the Restream team. Of course, Smake D doing the Restream tonight, always around helping out with these Restreams. Very thankful to have him around. And Dimmering too, who I like to poke fun at every now and then, is doing our tracking tonight. She is extremely friendly, extremely helpful, and her on tracking makes our jobs as commentary just so much easier because we miss things all the time. So big shout out to both of them, and make sure you give them a follow. And of course, a shout out to my co-commentator tonight, BG Rich. So thank you all so much for joining us for this race tonight. And Rex Raw finishing up the last little bit of setup they want to do for this Z fight. Finished up their grind very quick, had more than 10 key items. Rex turns in their pass with their setup, Excal, Avenger Cecil, and White Spear, Avenger Kane. Not gonna have any trouble with this Robus fight. And Direwolf, Porum is not a shrimp. Even though Rosa is the better white mage, Porum is still absolutely amazing and only gets better as she gets older. Cecil has thrown the crystal. And we are on to our last Z fight of the night. Got a Bacchus on Eddie, Bacchus on Edge, Kane throwing the Silk Web.
And I wonder if we're even going to see the rocks on this battle, because with 4 Zerkers and the equipment they have, it's going to be a quick fight.
Kane takes the counter nuke. Ooh, that's actually a little on the painful side.
Going to be a 5. Looks like all Zerkers here. 5 Zerkers going all offense.
Let's go. Let's go very risky tonight. Let's not bother with that white mage. Kate Sith taking 15th place with a time of 138.27, and their team's combined score is 310.03. And you can see Eddie with that spoon doing just absolutely amazing damage. Oh, it's a crystal sword, Cecil, so even faster. There's our first big bang. I think Eddie will actually survive this as well. And poor bless her heart, trying her hardest with that staff.
At this point, Rex can go grab some food, grab a drink, take a break. The 5 Zerkers is gonna on autopilot now.
Does mean having to hope that a big bang doesn't wipe out his party, because he's not going to be able to nerf it, and everyone except for Setzel is a little low on HP. Up, there's the flash. Rex Rawl coming in 16th place with a time of 129.08. GG to them. Let's see if we can get Maggie and Rex in here for an. And we are now joined by Rex Rawl and Maggie the Cat. GG to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We got there in the end, didn't we?
Y'all both played very, very well, so it's just Magma Key kind of sent you on this wild goose chase, Rex.
Yeah, we kind of figured, especially once Maggie found that legend sword, that the fact that, because I had said as soon as I was done with the Tower of Zot that I was going to go to the giant first and then do Bahamut right after that. So that was the plan, but the Magma Key there is like, Maggie's already on the moon, Maggie can handle that, I'll just handle everything else.
Yep, and then I found that legend sword and I was like, well, I may as well stay up here. I guess I'll finish clearing out the trap chests. And I was like, I feel like there's nothing in the trap chests. I got that Baron key and I was like, should I go check this Baron key? And it was a really good thing that I didn't go check that Baron key.
Yeah, it would have been a little saddening if you would have checked Baron and then realized, oops, Adamant was actually in Cave Bahamut, so
sitting there.
once it had back.
Yeah, just sitting there this whole time, yeah. Oh, I thought that we played really well. I think we make a really good team. It's just, rando's gonna rando.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't advise that people go through that whole package thing to get game that I did. Like, that was probably not a smart move, but I don't know. My team was super strong, so.
I was a little surprised you waited for the package for Kane, but you found a white spear not long afterwards, so it made itself up mostly.
Yeah, I found a white spear and I ended up with 2 Avengers, so yeah, it did pay off. It still probably was more time than I should have taken, but I was right there, and I don't really have much more on that.
I told him that he should have taken Yang instead of Cecil when he got up to the moon.
Yeah, you know me, I'm not going to take Yang.
He already had the Adamant and the Excalibur on Cecil at that point. I mean, why wouldn't you take Yang?
I mean, young, pretty solid party member, but I don't think you really needed him at that point. You had Kane,
No.
you had Spoonward Edward, you had Cecil.
I had 3 adamant armors. I had super powerful. Yeah. Oh, and that Berserking Porum was an accident, by the way. I meant to use a Cure 3 with her, and I accidentally selected Bacchus. So I'm like, well, I think I still got this, so I'll just set the controller down, and it worked.
It's awesome. That's even better that you did it that way.
Yeah.
Well, you're not supposed to own up to your mistakes on stream, but
Well, it was one of those. It was a mistake, but I'm like, I think I still win, and I did, so it's good.
no, I mean, you had Crystal Sword Avenger Cecil, White Spear Avenger Kane. You were doing so much damage so quickly, it didn't matter about the poor.
That was the advantage of my party, yeah, without a doubt.
BG Rich, do you have any questions for either of our restreamed runners?
A couple more. I know we asked the other team that was on stream. First of all, any tips that you would provide to anybody new that's been watching this race today? People that are not familiar with Free Enterprise.
Like, give it a try with 2v2. Even if you don't know somebody, you might meet somebody who you work with well. And if you do have a friend who also plays Free Enterprise, playing together is just that much more fun. Every time I team with Maggie, it's a blast. So we might not have done very well in this race, but it still is great that we have the opportunity to do this again.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the community is just really great. And so if anybody is out there just watching, I say this a lot when I commentate too. If anybody's out there watching and just kind of lurking, please come out and join us in the Discord. We would love to have anybody new, especially with the league coming up next week. We'd love to have you come out and join us. Watch us for sure, but come out and join us for some of these races that we have coming up, because we have a lot of races starting up next week with the league starting. So we'd love to see some new faces. And it's a very welcoming community. I joined it about a year ago, and everybody's been just so friendly and welcoming, and it feels kind of like a little community, a little family that we're a part of here.
I'm just going to echo what Maggie said. If you're lurking, come join us on the Discord. Everyone is super friendly, and we love seeing new faces joining us, just running casually, joining in on these races. It's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it.
And as far as like tips for new players, I guess just try it. Even if you've never played vanilla Final Fantasy IV, you don't need to be experienced with the game or familiar with the game. It does help, but I know there are a lot of people who have joined Free Enterprise without having played the original game, and they pick it up pretty easily. It is a pretty friendly randomizer to pick up, and with the community being as friendly as it is, we do have a newbies channel in the Discord that if you have questions or you get stuck in a seed, you can ask in the newbies corner channel for help, and there's lots of people who hang out there and are happy to answer questions. You can share your seed, and they'll play through it with you or watch you play through it to see where you get stuck and help you out.
I'll also add, while you can play this without playing Final Fantasy IV, try playing Final Fantasy IV. It's a great game. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's what was and always has been my favorite game, which is how I got into the randomizer. So yeah, even if you want to just play Free Enterprise without playing it, that's cool. But yeah, definitely, yeah, if you have the time, play the original game too. Yeah.
All right, with that, do you two have any final thoughts on the seed or just in general for our viewers?
I'll just say I'm a commentator, not a racer, so.
Agreed. Agreed. I have a lot of fun, and I do it just for fun. And Rex and I, we used to race a little bit more often when they were on Wednesdays because Rex isn't available on Saturdays. So I'm just glad that we got a chance to race, even if we came in last. So it's just fun to play.
Absolutely.
And so it's for those of you who are out there watching and you're like, man, I'm not as good as anybody here. Don't, just come out and play. Like, you don't need to be good to join the community.
All right. Well, thank you both for letting us watch your restreams tonight. And GG again. Y'all may have gotten last, but I think y'all still played fantastically, and y'all really weren't that far behind everyone else. So it's just
I agree with that too.
Rando.
I agree. Rando's gonna.
No, we had fun, and thanks for letting us be a part of this tonight. Thanks for everybody who put on the show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all so much for stepping up to do the restream and the commentary and the tracking tonight to let Rex and I race together. We really appreciate it since we don't get a chance to do so very often anymore.
All right. GG to both of them. That was Rex Rawl and Maggie the Cat. They both help out on the commentary and tracking for these restreams all the time. It's great to be able to see them show off for us tonight. I'm also going to give another shout out to our commentary team tonight, or restream team tonight, which was Smapety on the restream, doing a fantastic job as always, and Dimreen too, stepping up and doing tracking tonight. Without them, the commentary is much more difficult and sometimes almost impossible. And then of course, BG Rich for joining me on commentary tonight. It was a pleasure working with you.
Agreed. Sure thing, Tarazu. I appreciate you working with me today, and hopefully we'll get to do this again sometime.
Looking forward to it. And just so everyone knows, we have another community race Monday at 8 Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, our qualifiers kick off this Tuesday at 9 Eastern Standard Time. Even if you're on the fence, come join us for the qualifiers. You never know. Rando's gonna rando, and you could end up doing very well. And with that, I think we're going to do a raid over to Randomania, who is playing some Final Fantasy. So definitely check them out, and hoping to see y'all next time.
GG, and thanks again, everybody.